Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Tyler Weiskup here from NFM headquarters with our MC artiste, Becca Sudbeck.
Ooh, hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And of course, we have Hillary Waltemath, our visual display general manager.
Hey.
Hello. And today we're continuing our monthly topic of sustainability by doing a little deep dive into outdoor power. Specifically, we're talking about trends in outdoor, and we've got Ego Power brand that we're going to dive into a little bit more, kind of figure out how that product works. And we've brought on a special guest, Ryan Davenport, to help us talk it through.
Yep.
Hi, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Before we get into talking about the official topic today, though, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast. And that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. Learn more at nfm.com. Okay, so Ryan Davenport, let me introduce you to the audience. People might not know who you are. You are a buyer in electronics inventory flow was the official title. If people aren't in the industry, can you kind of explain what that means?
So basically, I buy for fitness and outdoor power. So basically, the product selection for outdoor power really means for lawn mowers, riders, blowers, chainsaws, Yeti cups, Yeti product, fitness equipment, all those fun accessories that we have.
Perfect.
And Ego happens to be one of the brands that we have.
Yes, Ego is we're excited to talk about that today. I wanted to highlight a little bit more about you, though. You've been with the company for about 6 years.
6 or 7 years.
7 years. Okay. Formerly as the category financial planner. You're also a president award winner. You've got a big background in home and living management at some of the big box stores that we all know and love, apartment complexes as well. Yep. And LinkedIn tells me that you also volunteer at Methodist Hospital and make crafts.
That is one thing I have done in the past. Yes.
Okay. All right.
You
I love that,
are
Ryan.
the expert stalker, really.
It didn't take
Get
that
all
long.
those juicy details.
This is all I could find. So.
And I have a daughter who's, I'm very proud to say, she's going to be a black belt next week or the week after.
Are you kidding?
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Very
Yes.
excited.
Congratulations.
Love that.
Plug that.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah, that's right. Raising her right.
Well, speaking of black belts, Ego is really a black belt in the world.
Very true.
You almost got through that.
I almost did, of outdoor power, especially when it comes to being industry leading in electric
Yeah, they
technology.
are the number one battery operated brand in the industry. Definitely.
Yeah.
And they are our number one as well. So what happened for us was in 2022, the state of California issued a law where in 2024 you were not allowed to sell them any gas powered equipment, whether it be lawnmowers or blowing instruments.
Yeah.
So that changed the entire industry. So Honda, which was one of our number one vendors, which was NFM's, basically 20% of our business was in Honda. Honda decided to exit the business. So no longer selling lawnmowers, which was huge for us. We kind of panic. What are we going to do to make up this business?
Yeah.
This Ego basically came to the table, and with them, Toro and Husqvarna, we made up that business 10 times fold. So Ego was definitely on board. We expanded the lineup with them. Honda kind of exited quietly. We still have some gas power with them, but basically they are out the door, which is sad because they made quality product.
Yeah,
Right.
Definitely.
Big name as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I know Hondas are just huge for reliability.
Yeah,
Right.
all that
Known
stuff.
to run
And so it's
forever.
it's kind of big shoes to fill, but the fact that we're able to kind of find some other products that are able to do that, and in kind of the realm of the topic today, sustainability, like one that's electric and it's fun and easy to use, as well as a huge bonus for a lot of our customers. And I know that's something that they enjoy when we offer this as an option. Yeah. So just let's back up a second and talk a little bit about some of the outdoor power tool trends that you've noticed maybe in the last few years.
Well, because of that ban, what I've noticed walking the streets is, we've gone from 80% gas, 20% battery to today we're 60% battery, 40% gas.
Really?
You walk to big box store, the orange one in particular, they're 90% battery.
Wow.
Wow.
So that is a tremendous. And when I worked there, their big, 8 SKUs that they had were 100% gas.
Yeah.
And one of their biggest players was Honda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So not having Honda, they're having to make it up with the electric.
And that switch happened in a span of a couple of
A
years.
couple of years,
Wow.
within 3 years,
That's
they
pretty
made that
amazing.
switch.
Yeah.
And so I think we're competitively placed because of where we're at in the country. We don't have to deal with that California, mess. And with our customer base and where we're at, I think we're positioned perfectly with the product that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because obviously the world is slowly
Mhm.
moving away from fossil fuels. I mean, this is a reason that California is making the
Yep.
laws that they are, which helps push the industry along in a certain way. But how has this affected maybe lifestyle in home care? Like you said, you've seen that change within product selection. Are you hearing it from customers too?
Yeah, I really am. What this product actually does is it simplifies the outdoor experience. So you see it a lot in the handheld world where, a lot of people obviously have a gas mower. Do they want to do that trimming, the extra blowing, that stuff with the gas part of it? You have to mix the oil, the
Mhm.
50-to-1 ratio. You smell like gas after
Mhm.
the fact. If you actually have an Ego product or any of the other batteries, it's simple. You just stick it in, charge it in, and you can go out and clean the product in a much faster approach. You don't smell like anything after the fact. The only thing you have to do is maybe change trimmer line, clean up, rake. So it makes it a much faster experience.
Yeah.
And a much easier experience.
Yeah, I learned my fiance has, I think, the last oldest Honda mower to exist. It won't die. Dying to get one of these Ego mowers. But at the end of the season, he has to run the gas out of it, which is smelly and loud and weird. And just not anything I thought of being a requirement at the end of the season too.
Yeah, there's additives you can put in there like
Uh-huh.
Stable that helps keep the gas in there.
Uh-huh.
There's gas that you can buy that we actually sell the 51 on it, where you can leave the gas in there over the winter time,
Okay.
so it doesn't dry out the gas lines.
Okay.
But the other alternative is to run the gas out.
Yeah. Okay.
Problem is you dry the lines out,
Uh-huh.
so you potentially have summertime problems.
Yeah.
Which is our number one rad complaint is you can't start
Right.
the line because there's air in the line. So then you have to take it to small engines
Ugh.
to get it repaired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to deal with that with
Yeah.
the
When
Ego
there's
When there's a
products,
battery
right?
and not a gas
just-
tank.
yeah.
The only thing that you have to deal with this is you have to prep. You have to charge your batteries ahead
Mhm.
of time
Yeah.
because, one battery may not last you the whole experience.
Mhm.
So you have to have backup batteries in order to do it. Your mower may not be then, depending on the size of your yard, you may have to have backup batteries.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the practical nature of using these products. Like the battery is one thing, you've got to charge them. Sometimes you got to have multiple depending on the size of your
Yeah.
yard. But is it are there other capabilities or concerns that customers have when it comes to going electric?
I would say, well, if you're 5 years ago, if you're looking at maybe a Milwaukee or maybe a DeWalt Makita, at the other stores, you had multiple different types of batteries. You'd have an 18 volt, 20 volt, 40, 38 volt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're never interchangeable depending on what
Mm.
you were using for outdoors versus the drill section.
Oh yeah.
What's nice about the Ego piece is this battery will work with the blower, it'll work with the trimmer, it'll work with the riding lawnmower, it will work with the generator, it'll work with everything.
Yeah.
So if you have
that's nice.
Mhm.
the battery that comes with the blower is a 2.8 amp. This happens to be a 5. The difference is you put this in the blower, it just lasts twice as long.
Yeah.
It's heavier,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but you could also put a riding one inside the blower
Right.
You're carrying a 10-pound battery
Right.
versus a 5-pound or a 2.5-pound. So it just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's the convenience of it, is this one battery will work across the entire lineup.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
that
appealing.
Yeah, that is really
tremendous.
nice. Yeah.
So if you have you've got the lawnmower, you've got the blower, you've got I mean, do they typically come with a battery
They come with it.
themselves,
Now
right?
they do come two options. They come what's called bare tool,
Yeah.
which is just the tool itself,
Okay.
or they come tool plus the battery.
Got
We
it.
typically buy it where it's the tool plus the battery, because you get a discount with the battery.
Got it.
The battery
Mm.
by itself, like this battery by itself, is $300.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's an expense.
Yeah.
So
And this is the 5.
this is the 5.
5. Okay.
The promotion that we have running now, where you buy a lawnmower, you get a free battery. This is the free battery you get with
Oh,
it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a huge
$300.
savings.
Huge
Yeah.
savings.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's-
that's
you buy the
huge.
lawnmower for $600, you get a $300 battery for free.
Yeah.
This is basically
Yeah.
60 minutes of free battery.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
So that is a huge savings in dollar, especially for the fact of if you have a larger lawn, you've got 60 minutes of free
Yeah.
runtime.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you can buy though without the
Mhm.
battery if you
Yep.
want.
Mhm.
Because if you're on the cheaper side, sometimes you've got folks like that, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I've got a battery, oh, it's fine. I'll just do my yard in hour increments over over an entire day. I don't know if that's who's got the time to do that, but maybe you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that you don't really understand, if you have 300 linear feet of fence, most people don't know how much fence line they
No.
have.
right.
But when you're doing trimmer and then you have to do the other side of the fence, you may run out halfway and
Mm.
you got to wait 45 minutes for that battery to charge. So you
Mhm.
need that extra battery
Yeah.
to go run and do it.
Well,
Otherwise,
you
you're
know,
waiting.
You should get out of the sun though, and hydration.
Yeah. Have a glass of lemonade.
Well, yeah. So the battery takes 45 minutes to.
Typically
charge.
45 to an hour,
Okay.
depending on the size of the battery.
That's
so
a shorter time frame that I would have guessed.
the new lithiums have a much faster charging. time,
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty good. I
depending on
mean,
the size of the battery.
they've kind of progressed probably from when they first came out.
yeah.
I don't think it was like that short a time frame.
No, it's much faster than it was. They have a commercial line which we're not into yet, that has a whole garage system where you put up to 45 batteries on the wall.
Wow.
can
And they
charge.
charge like on the
The
wall.
whole
Yeah.
wall
Yeah.
just lights up with the
Wow.
charging, which
Oh.
That's cool.
at some point we'll get into there, but floor
Yeah.
space is a challenge here at NFM for me.
Oh, what?
Keep fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's a
I would.
seasonal challenge. For me.
Yeah, right. Well, I would still much rather go inside and wait 45 minutes for my battery to charge than to put a gas can in my car to run to the gas station
Yeah.
and then your car smells like
Well,
gas.
what's nice about it is it's the one battery. So
Uh-huh.
like back in the day when I was using a different competitor's battery, I would do the fence line in the backyard
Uh-huh.
first, and then I would charge
Charge
it,
it.
Uh-huh.
and then I would mow the front,
Yeah.
and then I
Go
would
back.
charge the other.
Uh-huh.
By then I'd have 45 minutes. of done.
Yeah.
So you
Huh.
just have to plan it out.
Yeah. They're
So-
capable
But
of doing
now
that.
you have multiple batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially if they're interchangeable, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
having two seems like a good plan at,
Mhm.
at all times.
Yeah.
And the fact that the lawnmower comes with batteries and you get an extra free one, you're sold.
Yeah.
As far as price goes compared to the gasoline counterparts, are we competitive now with the electrics, or is it still
So it's an investment
Yeah.
to go green. So the number one seller that we have is the 2135 lawnmower. It starts at $699. Right now it's on sale for $599. You get the free battery. So it's normal price with everything. It's $999. You get it for $599 today with the free battery.
yeah, which
compare
we
that-
already said was $300.
Yeah.
Get that compared to our best selling average price point Toro at $429. So
Okay.
it's $170 cheaper to go gas for equivalent. So
Yeah.
5 years down the road, when you've spent money on oil, maintenance,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
gas,
Yep.
you're going to get there down the road.
Yeah.
You're not maintaining the only thing you're going to be maintaining on this is the blade.
Yeah.
You're going to change the blade out every couple of years
Which
or sharpening it.
Yeah,
depending on-
you have
You
to
would
do
do in the gasoline
anyways.
version
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So, okay, interesting. So, any other questions or concerns that customers typically have when they're thinking about switching to electric that we haven't already covered?
I think it's the big one is power.
Yeah.
So if you've ever used an 18 volt or 20 volt power option, there's just not enough power to get through the weeds. With gas, it's just you go straight through it like your commercial grade.
Yeah.
The Ego is equivalent to a gas, if not stronger.
Oh wow.
So it's full power straight through. Especially the bigger battery you have, it's going
Yeah.
to have more power to it.
Got it.
There's no issue on that aspect, especially with the mowers themselves or even the riding mowers, the zero turns that we have.
Got
There's
it.
more power to them.
Weight wise, you were talking about like the 5 volt here. It's like 5 pounds. Like, is that
Overall, they're going to be lighter than a gas equivalent.
okay?
When the gas is fully in there,
Yeah.
it's going to be lighter overall,
Okay.
And quieter, right?
much quieter.
Mm-hmm.
The only
Oh,
thing
that-
you're going to hear out
that's
of
huge.
that is the actual turning of the grass.
Yeah.
And all of our Egos, I should say all of them, our self-propelled models have a twin blade. So like the old Hondas where there's 2 blades, so you get a much finer mulch.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your leaves in the winter
Mm-hmm.
or the fall time, you can get more in the bag
Okay.
because you have a finer cut.
Okay.
Huh.
Love that.
Instead of just raking them, you can actually mow them into
Yeah.
the bag and
Yeah.
get a much finer cut.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Speaking of, let's kind of rely on your past experience a little bit to kind of speak to what are some ways beyond like going electric that people can do to make their homes lawns a little bit more sustainable.
Definitely using the mulching aspect of the lawnmowers. That'll help thicken your grass as well as make it greener because you're getting nutrients from the grass back into the grass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Most people either bag that grass or they can side shoot the grass, or
Yeah.
what we consider side shoot today, it's actually coming out the back. Most of them don't have side shoots anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just falls out the back, which you're walking on as you're doing it. But mulching would be that. And all it is just spinning it to a fine grass.
Yeah.
But that gets the nutrients back in. So over time, you'll have to thatch your grass or,
Okay.
Right.
which that gets it really thick. So if you have really thin grass, that's where you want to start mulching it.
Okay.
Bagging it will help thin the grass and then remove that nutrients from the area. So if
Does-
you have really thick, you just want to bag it.
Yeah. Does the mulching help like retain moisture
Yep.
too? Okay.
Helps retain moisture. So if if you have a lot of sun on your grass, mulching
Mhm.
helps save that.
Okay.
If you want to raise your deck as well, if you have a lot of sun,
Okay.
the lower you have the grass to the ground, it'll scorch the earth.
Oh,
Yep.
You don't
okay.
want that.
Okay.
Just like
Interesting.
hair on the head.
Right.
Right,
Yep.
Tyler?
Oh, you think I cut it?
I was
Is that what?
Too short.
was
Just
yeah,
a
you
little.
needed to
That's why-
raise the deck a little bit.
That's why I've gotten. That's, okay. Well.
We're gonna have to have a support class.
He likes it.
That's interesting. I would love to dig into mulching a little bit, just making sure that like I understand and like our listeners do as well. Like you're talking about like that some products have the side shooting, some
Yeah.
have like the kind where you're walking. Like if you're just like no bag, you let it go. Is that like all you need to do for mulching, or you got to be out there like
No.
working or like
Most of the mowers that we have are 3-in-1s, which is 3. You can mulch, bag it, or discharge it. So you just set it to mulch, which
Yeah.
is basically you're closing off the chute. You're not allowing it to go anywhere but stay within the chute.
Yeah.
The fact that it's double bladed, it gets it finer cut, so that way you're not choking the blade. So when you have really thick grass,
Yeah.
it'll like choke the motor.
Yep.
So you have to walk slower, so that way the motor doesn't burn up.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
The
Interesting.
other thing you can do is also fertilize. Do your 4 stages of fertilizing:
Mhm.
crabgrass, dandelion, your summer, and then fall. Fall is really the most important one. 'Cause
Yeah.
You want to shut down the grass at the end of the year so it wakes up healthy.
Okay. So like when you're like making it go dormant.
That's
tucking
good.
it in for the
Like you were
Night-night.
saying in past episodes, sleep more important than nutrients.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it applies to
that
grass
Full
also. Who
circle
knew?
moment
Who
here.
knew?
Well, one of the benefits of like the Ego products, we've talked a little bit about like shifting away from gasoline, all that like fumes and all that, like the pain and hassle of like having to go continue to manage, but the oils, all that kind of stuff. You talked about like the benefit to the family. I wonder if you can kind of leave us maybe with that today.
Well, I think for me, having the home work life and, having to constantly, work, 45, 50 hours a week, working from home, working around the clock, sometimes with vendors, and then having to go outside and doing
Mm,
everything
more
else,
work.
trying to get the
Right.
kids away from the tablet, get them away from the
Yes.
electronics. All right, you're going to come outside and help me. some of the smaller tasks, like the blowing, like the trimming, like even the lawnmower, getting them to go in a straight line 10 times might help, or even a snowblower, getting them to do that.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
of the heavier Husqvarna ones, they're impossible to steer unless
Mhm.
you're, like me.
Yeah.
But some of the lighter weight ones, like the Toros or the Ego ones, are easily managed, where they can do it. My 13-year-old daughter can easily maneuver those around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And my son loves the blower. I just need to target him in the right
Right.
direction of where to do
Yes.
it.
Here's where
Don't
you're
they love
In
the
this group of
blowers?
leaves
You're
in
like,
this
no,
corner."
that's not
And
what
it's
you're
not your
supposed to be
sister.
blowing.
Yeah.
It's that Kevin Hart joke of do it how I want you to do it,
Yeah.
not the way you're doing it.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I love that because, like you said, you can get the whole family
Yeah.
involved. It helps
Mhm.
everybody get through chores quicker, and you can get back to doing the things that you want to do.
Mhm.
Exactly. And it's getting them off the tablet. That's the 100% thing. And
Yes.
getting them to actually help you outside.
Yeah.
So it's not just
Well, earning their rent.
Yeah. Shared responsibilities.
Well, perfect. All right. Any final words of wisdom, Ryan, for either Ego products, sustainable lawn care, any of that kind of stuff?
we've got a lot of fun product coming out. We've got an Ego rider that we're skewing up today. We've got a Ego mini bike that's coming out.
Oh,
Ooh,
cool.
It did
Okay.
hit Kansas City store, so I would love to see any one of us buy it, drive it. It's a dirt bike.
Oh,
Oh.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
extremely fun. So I'm really excited to see what it does.
Okay.
We've got a lot of good product coming out, from power banks that you can get your family out for camping. You can even have TVs hooked up to them, play PlayStation out in camping. We've got tons of
Love
products.
that. Love
Huh.
that. Yeah.
And we have tons of e-bikes and all that from Magnum and Jetson and Huffy. So come out and buy.
Yeah.
Definitely, Ryan. Well, thanks again for being here. I know we kind of called you short notice to be able to do this episode, and I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
So, of course, I want to thank Becca and Hillary and our producer, Scott, and thank you for listening. And make sure to check out nfm.com for everything outdoors and indoors, too. 24/7, it's available. And until next time, remember, home is what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hillary Waltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.